Chatyadeshatan. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrata. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th
Shilpaji,
Canto.
Shilpaji, just a
Ah,
request today class. Can we pray specially for my friend because she just got her biopsy done yesterday? So it's a
sure,
7-day wait so that everything comes out good for her.
sure. What's her name?
Ritu.
Ritu.
Yeah,
Sure, we can dedicate today's class to Ritu.
yeah. Thank you.
Wishing her the best.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to continue reading from Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 16. We are hearing about the pastime of Kaliya's snake. Krishna has entered the water, and all the Brajvasis are so scared what's going to happen to him. And there's all these inauspicious omens also happening. Tamstatha kataran vikshya
Tams tatha kataran viksha
Bhagavan Madhavo balaha
Bhagwan Madhavo balaha
Rahasya kinchin novacha
Rahasya kinchano ovacha
Abhavagyo nujasya saha.
प्रभावज्ञो अनुजस्य सः.
Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord Balaram, the master of all transcendental knowledge, smiled and said nothing when he saw the residents of Vrindavan in such distress, since he understood the extraordinary power of his younger brother. Sri Balaram is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna and is thus non-different from him. They are in fact the same absolute truth, manifest in separate forms. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Lord Balaram was laughing because he thought Krishna never cares to play with me in my form of Sheshnag. But now he's playing with this ordinary mundane snake named Kaliya. So Lord Balaram, he of course knows that Krishna is just playing around. But he's smiling and he's thinking, yeah, Sheshnag is an expansion of Lord Balaram, right? Krishna speaks in his form of Lord Vishnu, he sleeps on Sheshnag. So Lord Balaram is saying, but Krishna never plays with me like that. How he's playing with Kaliya. The question may arise as to why Krishna and Balaram allowed their loving devotees to suffer such great anguish during Krishna's temporary imprisonment within the coils of Kaliya. It must be remembered that because the inhabitants of Vrindavan were completely liberated souls, they did not experience material emotions. When they saw that their beloved Krishna in apparent danger, their love for him intensified to the highest degree, and thus they merged completely into ecstasy of love for him. The whole situation has to be seen from the spiritual point of view, or it will not be seen at all. So we were hearing that they were going unconscious, the Brajavasis, and because their love is churned so much, it's overflowing in their heart, you know. They're looking at Krishna in apparent danger. So their love has become even more intensified right now. As we were saying yesterday, right? That on the material platform, this is all a great suffering. If our loved one, we see them in great danger, we would be so much anxious. But here, this anxiety is giving them the greatest ecstasy because it's based in pure love. Is that okay?
For the Brajvasi, right? Because
Yeah.
they're explaining that why they are being put in so much of anxiety.
Yeah. They put in this anxiety so they can experience this so much love, this intense love in their heart. Just like the gopis, they always love Krishna, but when they're in the mood of separation, their love becomes so much more intense, and it's so much more ecstasy. Te Veshamana
ते वेशमाणाद्वैतम्
Krishnam Suchitaya Pade
कृष्णं सूचीतया पदे
Bhagavad Lakshaner Jagmo
भगवत् लक्षणे जग्मुः
Padavya Yamuna Tatam.
पद्मवया यमुना तटम्.
The residents hurried toward the banks of the Yamuna in search of their dearest Krishna, following the path marked by his footprints, which bore the unique signs of the personality of Godhead. So Krishna's lotus feet has different markings, and devotees sometimes memorize these different markings on the lotus feet of Krishna. They meditate on them. Brajraj is so valuable because Krishna has walked all over this land and it's has Krishna's footprints. So now the Brajvasis, they are following these footprints of Krishna. They're seeing the signs, so they know this is Krishna's footprints, and they're going to the Yamuna. Tatra Tatrabjayava Kashani
तत्र तत्र जयव अंकुश आशनी
Vajopa Nani Padani Vishpate
ध्वजो उपनानि पदानि विट्पते.
Marge Kavam Anya Padantarantare
मार्गे ग्वमन्यपद अन्तर अंतरे
Nirekshamana Yayuranga Satvara.
निरीक्ष्यमाणः युयुरङ्गस्वत्वरः.
The footprints of Lord Krishna, the master of the entire cowherd community, were marked with a lotus flower, barley corn, elephant goad, thunderbolt, and flag. My dear Parikshit, seeing his footprints on the path among the cow's hoofprints, the residents of Vrindavan rushed along in great haste. So Sukadev Goswami is telling us a few of the markings on Krishna's lotus feet. There are 26 in total. Here he is mentioning a few: lotus flower, barley corn, elephant goad. You know, elephant goad is something that the elephant keeper uses it to control the elephant. Elephant goad to control the elephant. You can pray to Krishna. You have this elephant goad on your foot. Now help me with this. Help me to control this mad elephant of my mind. And sometimes our mind is likened to a mad elephant. Thunderbolt and flag. Thunderbolt to crush our false ego. We can pray in these things. Yeah, pray in this way. So the Brajvasis, the cows, they saw these footprints and then they are following the footprints. Srila Sanatan Goswami comments as follows: since Lord Krishna has passed along the path sometime previously, why weren't his footprints, which were surrounded by those of cows, cowherd boys, and so on, smudged over and brushed away? Why hadn't his footprints been obliterated by those of the beasts and birds of Vrindavan forest? The answer is indicated by the verse Vishpati, master of the cowherd community, since Lord Krishna is actually the wealth of all living beings. All the inhabitants of the forest of Raj would carefully preserve his footprints as great treasures, the very ornaments of the earth. Thus, no creature within Vrindavan would ever walk upon Lord Krishna's footprints. So Sanatan Goswami is asking, oh, how come the footprints were still there? Everybody was walking around, the birds, the beasts, the people, the cows. How come the footprints are still so clear? Then he's answering. He's saying, why? Because everyone loved Krishna so much. They didn't want to walk over his footprints, they wanted to preserve them. Every time looking at the footprints, they would go into ecstasy in remembrance of Krishna. Krishna is the most lovable object. We love someone, we want to preserve their things. So they don't walk over his footprints. Antardevo jagabhogapari tam arat
अंतर्हृदय भुजग भोग परीतम आरात
Krishnam niriham upalabhya jalashayante.
कृष्णं निरीहम् उपलभ्य जल आश्यते
Gopamscha muda dishanan paritapashumscha.
गोपान् च मूढा दिशनान्
Sankrandata paramakashmalam apurartha.
सङ्कन्तपरं कश्मलम् आपु आर्तः
As they hurried along the path to the bank of the Yamuna river, they saw from a distance that Krishna was in the lake, motionless within the coils of the black serpent. They further saw that the cowherd boys had fallen unconscious, and that the animals were standing on all sides, crying out for Krishna. Seeing all this, the residents of Vrindavan were overwhelmed with anguish and confusion. In their grief and panic, the residents of Vrindavan tried to find out whether Kaliya had forcibly dragged young Krishna from the shore into the water, or whether Krishna had himself jumped from the shore and fallen into the clutches of the snake. They could not understand anything about the situation, and Krishna's cowherd boyfriends, being unconscious, were unable to tell them anything. The cows and calves were crying out for Krishna, and thus the whole situation was overwhelming and created a state of shock and panic among the residents of Vrindavan. So we heard that the cowherd boys who were with Krishna, they were so much in panic that they had fainted. The cows were so shocked that they were crying. So when the other residents of Raj reached there to the Yamuna, they didn't know what happened. When something happens, we want to know what happened, right? We say, "Oh, how did it happen?" So now they're like, why is Krishna in the lake? Why is he in the coils of Kaliya? Is it that Kaliya has come on the banks of the river? He's caught him from there and dragged him into the water? Or is it that Krishna has jumped himself inside the lake and then that's how Kaliya has caught him? So there's so much confusion. They don't know what's happening. They're shocked. Gopyo nurakta manaso bhagavati anante.
गोप्यो अनुरक्ता मनसो भगवन् अनन्ते
Tatso radasmita viloka kira smarantayaha.
सो तत्सो हृदयस्मिता विलोक गिरः स्मरन्तयः
Ste hina priyatame bresha dukha tapta.
ग्रस्ते हि न प्रिय तमे भृश दुःख तप्तः
Shunyam priyavyatiratam dadashus trilokam.
शून्यं प्रियाव्यतिहृतं ददशु त्रिलोकम्
And the young gopis whose minds were constantly attached to Krishna, the unlimited Supreme Lord. so that he was now within the grips of the serpent. They remembered his loving friendship, his smiling glances, and his talks with them. Burning with great sorrow, they saw the entire universe as void. So his girlfriends, the young gopis, they're seeing Krishna in this condition, and they are so sad. They're so much in sorrow. They think now they are saying that now nothing is there for us to live for. Krishna, our life, he is in so much trouble, and they are remembering how he was smiling with them, how he would talk to them, how his friendship was with them. It happens, right? When we hear of someone in trouble, then we'll say, oh, we had such a nice relationship, or this person, she's so good. We did this sometime and we did that. It's natural, right? So now they're remembering so that there's so much love. Krishna Mata Ramapatyam Anu Pravishtam
ता कृष्णमातरम् अपतयम् अनुप्रविष्टाम्
Tulya Vyadha Samanugrah Shucha Shavantya
तुल्यव्यथा समनुग्रह शुचः सत्कृवन्तय
Tasta Vrajpriya Kathakathayanthyasan
ताथा व्रजप्तास्था व्रजप्रिया कथकथन्त आसान्
Krishna Nirpita Drishomre Kapratika.
कृष्णानने प्रेतृदृशो मृतप्रतीकः
The elder gopis were feeling just as much distress as she and were pouring forth a flood of sorrowful tears. They had to forcefully hold back Krishna's mother, whose consciousness was totally absorbed in her son. Standing like corpses with their eyes fixed upon his face, these gopis each took turns recounting the pastimes of the darling of Raj. So Mother Yashoda, of course, Krishna is her baby. Something happens to your baby, you're gonna go crazy. So she was completely bewildered. What's happening? You know, she has so much love for Krishna. She was crying and crying, and her friends, they also love Krishna so much. We heard earlier in the Brahma Vimohan Leela how they love Krishna more than their children. So they are also so much in sorrow, but they want to give support to Mother Yashoda. So they were trying to calm themselves so that they can take care of her. And they're all talking about Krishna's pastimes. They're remembering how each of them have such loving pastimes with them. So much love here. They're so affected. Now we have to understand again, as we just read earlier, that this is not material distress they are feeling. On the material platform, it would be too much distress to see your child being, attacked by a snake. It would be too, so much anxiety there. But here, this is spiritual anxiety. It's different than material anxiety. In this spiritual anxiety, the love that they have is getting more and more deeper, more and more intense. It's overflooding their heart and it's overflowing. And then it's showing as this symptoms of ecstasy. Did y'all want to add anything? Comment?
So Shilpa ji, just one point. So they are just trying to make that yes, they all were in anxiety seeing Krishna in that situation. Even the Gopas, the everybody like gopis, gopas, all the Brajvasi, either now we are reading Mother Yashoda and everybody, but then it was increasing their love for Krishna.
Yeah.
They were getting more and more connected because they were remembering the Leelas, his pastimes, and everything, right?
Yeah,
And like
it's
if we
true.
are in anxiety, then we get, it's like our love doesn't increase, right? We are more.
But also, if you see others also increase, suppose our child is in danger,
Hmm,
or they are
hmm,
not well, for example, they're
hmm,
not well. So
hmm,
then we will take more care of them. Or
hmm,
what do you want? It's
hmm,
very natural. The love will flow more,
hmm.
right? Or
Yeah.
what do you want? Let me take care of you. So here also the love is, although in the spiritual platform it's already perfect, but because it's unlimited, the love is growing and growing.
Hmm. Okay.
And it's growing so much that there's so much ecstasy that they're fainting, and the tears which are coming, it's all symptoms of ecstasy. There's, yeah, based on love, the attachment to Krishna.
Okay.
So one may think it's suffering, but this
Hmm.
suffering is giving them the highest pleasure also. We may not be able to understand it, that how can suffering give pleasure? And they are fainting, how can it be pleasure? They are crying, how can it be pleasure? But because there's no distress as such in the spiritual platform, it's just love. And then that love becomes more and more intense.
Okay.
Inconceivable, right? For us, we may say, oh, what is this? What's happening? I'm suffering. How can it be ecstasy? But on the spiritual platform, it's all ecstasy because it's based on pure love. Or even from a material perspective, if we see, we can understand it that when we see someone we love in danger, how
Hmm.
affected we get, right?
Hmm.
We may get so crazy, so bewildered. We may even lose consciousness, and we may keep on crying and crying,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And it might
Absolutely.
feel like end of the world.
The end of the world. That's
Hmm.
right. Because there's so much attachment, and the object of your love is in danger, and you will feel, yeah, like the gopis are feeling. The
Hmm.
universe is void. So that's end of the world. What is there to live for?
Yeah. So much pain.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And with this pastime, we can see that how much love they have for Krishna.
Yeah.
That's another way to look at it, that how much love they have for him.
Yeah.
Sorry, couldn't hear.
No, I'm saying yes. So much.
Yeah. Stop here for today. Thank you all so much for listening and enjoying. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.